Welcome into this week's edition of the Coaches Show. We're going to start off with baseball, and joining me now is our head baseball coach, Adam Chamblee. Coach, thanks for joining me as always.
Yep, thank you for having me here.
And Coach, obviously we talked about Meridian. You'd played them in your midweek. We'll talk about the Holmes games, a Meridian team where you split with them 1-1, split with them. And one game one, walk-off, lost game two in extras. Talked about how you kind of felt like that would go away. But the guys were able to bounce back. You get a sweep on this one. It was one of those days. It wasn't pretty. It was ugly baseball for some of it. But, hey, sometimes that's just baseball, and you take two wins when you can get them. But your thoughts overall on the sweep?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it. It wasn't all pretty, but wins are wins, and that was the goal. You know, coming into the day, I kind of told our guys, obviously a sweep was what we needed to happen, what we needed to do, and we were able to make it happen. But like you said, it was kind of a weird. I told our players that kind of a weird sweep in a sense. You didn't feel like great about how we played, but we won two baseball games. I mean, you won two games, you can't complain.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I think after we were talking, I said, anytime you can get one, it's a good accomplishment in this league. Splits are great. Sweeps are even better. So anytime you can get two, even when it's ugly, you still take those two because you know how hard they are to come by.
They are. I mean, nobody's going to go away easily, as you could see in the first game, even though we kind of hurt ourselves a little bit. But nobody's going to go away easy. It doesn't matter where they are in the conference standings. I mean, and you look at our conference standings and – like there's so much that can still happen the rest of the way, and I think, the middle. I mean, there's only just a game or two, or maybe three games separating like six teams or something. So there's a lot that can still happen throughout the next 8 games. So it's a weird league for sure.
So and you look at game one, you look at this one. It was scoreless through the first 2.5 innings. Top of the third, you're still hanging a 0. Then the bottom half of the third comes up. Spencer Wilson gets you on the board with a solo home run and a ball that when he hit it, it took a little while for me to make the call it was a home run because I wasn't sure that it was going to get out.
Yeah.
We had one the inning before. I thought Christian Cameron had hit one out and it just kind of stayed in the yard. And I was afraid this one was going to do the same thing, just stay there right on the wall. But able to get it out there and get the scoring started. I'll get my words out in a second, I promise. But that's how you start everything, and it's a real jolt in the shot in the arm for the guys at that point.
Yeah, I really did think that. Not that it was the third inning, like you said. It wasn't like it was too late, and it was like, man, finally. Right. But it kind of felt that way in a sense. Maybe that we should have already scored on those guys, but it was almost like Spencer got us going, and then maybe it woke us up a little bit. Not that we were dead or anything, but I think it woke everybody up because Spencer's not hit a home run this year, and he's not a real big guy. And outside looking in, people were probably thinking, how did he do that? But we know as a coaching staff that he's got some juice in there, and he's a guy that I was really happy to see have that moment because to me his batting, like his BP and stuff in practice has just continually got better, and I think he's been swinging the bat really well for us. So it was really good to see for him.
And then you look forward, you carry that momentum forward. You scored 2 in the fourth, 3 in the fifth, and you're up 6-0 at that point. And you're kind of thinking, all right, we're gonna find a way, score a few more runs. Maybe we'll get done with this one early. Holmes scored 1 in the 6, cut it down 6-1. You still had some opportunities to score there. Couldn't push another run across. It stayed 6-1. And then the top of the ninth happened. And the top of the ninth, they took advantage of an error, scored 5 runs, led to 5 runs. And I believe we talked about it. I think only of those 5, I think maybe 2 of those were earned. And that's the part that kind of stings because it's kind of like you did it to yourself. Yes, they put the ball in play. Yes, they made the hits. But you also look at it and go, we allowed that inning to be what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, that was tough. Like you mentioned, though, we did have chances. I know we had bases loaded one time, with 2 outs and Tucker was up. And, not that he's going to come through all the time, even though he comes through a lot because he's having a really good year for us. I was hoping that he would do what Tucker does and at least hit a single and drive in a couple more. So that's been something that for whatever, both of these things have been a reoccurring thing for us to where we get out with a lead, but we just don't continue to – we don't extend the lead a whole lot of times, even more as the game goes on, which can be frustrating. And then obviously this year we've had trouble closing games out. I was about to say for whatever reason, but I know the reason. It's just, I know they had a hit and then we make an error. It's a combination. That inning was a combination of a couple hits, an error, a walk, a hit by pitch, a pass ball. Like all of a sudden, it's like we're not playing great baseball and we're maybe pressing a little bit to finish the game when we shouldn't have to do that. But I thought Judson Griffin threw really well in the 7th and 8th, and even in the 9th. I mean, the guy leads off with a single, which is one of their best hitters. It led off, and then he made the error. He threw the ball in the center field, which errors happen. Obviously, it was not a great time for it, but errors do happen in this game. And then I know they hit another single, and at that time I felt like it was we needed to go to somebody else. And I know we'll talk about these as well, but Dunk didn't have his best stuff that day, and even though he usually does, but he didn't that day, and then had to use Galat to get out of it, which they hit the double off of Galat as well, but the guy just did a good job of hitting there. So some of them, they earned some of it, and we gave some of it, and which is baseball. I mean, but dadgum, we're about sick of doing that. I wish we'd roll out there and go 1, 2, 3, bam, ball game. There it is, sealed. But we found a way to win it. Right. So
you look at that, and you don't want to say the guys get complacent or maybe they take their foot off the gas a little bit, trying to coast in and those kind of things, maybe saving some for game 2, something like that. But again, like you said, you'd like to see the scoring continue, even though a lot of times, even when this has happened, you've been able to find ways to overcome it. Haven't had a lot of teams really be able to complete a lot of comebacks against you this year. Right. So the good news is even though you're allowing things like that to happen, you're still finding ways to win them. And especially in this one, you look at that, guys load the bases up, and then J.D. Weed delivers. It would have been a game-winning play either way, even if the center fielder, he hit it so hard. I think I called it as soon as he hit it. I said, that's going to be deep enough, even if he catches it. Yeah. Fortunately, he didn't. Gets a walk-off single there, and that's how you get a 7-6 win on that one. We talked after the game. It was kind of like, you wish you wouldn't have had to have it, but hey, you get to count that one as a walk-off. You get to count it as a one-run win, and that's the difference from last year. We talked about that a lot. You look at last year, a lot of those one-run, two-run games, those were games that you were on the wrong side of a lot last year, and it feels really good to be on the right side of more of those this year.
Yes, it does. It definitely does. Being on the other side of them is not fun at all. So, yeah, it's – like you said, wish it wouldn't have been the way it was, but a win's a win, and we'll move on from it.
So you look at the hitting lines. J.D. Weed was your leading hitter in this one. He got you 3 hits. Tucker Jones got you a couple of hits. Spencer Wilson got you 2 hits. Brentley Berry, Jordan McKenzie, Christian Cameron, Braden Bankston were your others with hits as well, too. So that's where you get your 11 hits from. And then the pitching lines, this is one that you look at these, and Andon Bolin, had a great outing. You look at it, 5 or 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 unearned run, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. I think at one time he retired between the 3rd out of the 2nd inning and the 1st out of the 5th inning. It was like 10 or 11 in a row that he retired. And then he let up a single or something like that. So just there was a stretch there where Andon was just absolutely locked in, and we have a great clip of it. Hopefully we show. There's one point he got an inning strikeout, and he comes out just fired up. And I said on the stretch, I think that might be the most emotion I've ever seen him show in 2 years. But I think it was a great thing to see at that point.
Yeah, it was. He's a guy that he gets a little more fired up maybe than y'all see sometimes too, because he's a competitor, and I love seeing it. He was pitching really well, and a couple innings where you kind of wish the pitch count got up a little bit starting the game, but he settled in, and he really did what he's been doing majority of the year. Right. There's some innings that are maybe a little lengthy, but he also finds a way to get out of them. And then, he'll have innings where he goes punch out, punch out, punch out, and it's really, really good. So, no, it was great to see, and he did a good job again. I
think in that stretch of 10 or 11 in a row, I think at one point he struck out 5 out of 6 in one stretch as well, too. So just a great outing for him. The only thing you wish you could have gotten him the win. He gets another no decision and another quality start. But you look at Judson Griffin, as you mentioned, 2 innings of relief, 3 hits, 3 runs. Only one of those was earned on 4 strikeouts. So, again, not a terrible day for him. No. The 3 runs, 2 of those because of that error that he had. Jaden Duncan, 2/3 of an inning, we said it, not as sharp as 2 runs. Both of those earned, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. I think both of the runs were charged on a hit as well, too. I believe on that double that Galat gave up.
Yeah.
He allowed, I think, maybe 1 on a pass ball as well, too. Then Kobe comes in. He gets the win in relief, only faced 2 batters. Moves to 4-4 on the year, 1 hit, 1 strikeout in 1/3 of an inning. And I think the biggest thing about that strikeout was the fact that I believe the go-ahead run was at third base. I got into third base either on a pass ball, wild pitch. So it was a high-pressure moment. He came in and I think just threw 3 darts and said, here it is, if you can hit it, okay. And dude never caught up with it. So you like to see the fact that, Kobe is a known commodity, whether you bring him in the bullpen or starting, but the fact that he was able to come in a high-pressure situation and deliver and really seal that game for you feels good.
Yeah, I really didn't want to have to use him, but I did know that he was going to be okay for, obviously 1 or 2 hitters. He would definitely be fine, but even an inning, I knew he would be okay. But I didn't want to have to, but I felt like it was, hey, if they're going to beat us or if they're going to take the lead, make them do it against our, one of our best arms. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of why we did what we did. And
then you look at Game 2, and in Game 2 you kind of scratch your head because you go, like Game 1 was 7-6, you're expecting a lot of fireworks. Nope, Game 2 was 1-0. But your thoughts overall on Game 2, and I would say just a dominating masterclass of a performance from Connor Pittman.
Yeah, that was pretty much sums it up. There's not a whole lot, and I told our guys that after the game that, there's not a whole lot to talk about in this one other than the fact that Connor Pittman won the game for us. He absolutely dominated. As far, he struck out, I think, 11 or 12. And they hit some, and then defensively, you got to credit them as well. They did put the ball in play some, and some of it was hard contact, and our guys made some plays behind him. So really, you just look at the defensive unit as a whole, did a great job. But offensively, not a whole lot to say in this one. We had 1 hit, and hey, you gotta score to win, so we scored. So
right, the 1 hit, Jordan McKenzie, a leadoff double in the bottom of the 2nd. He eventually comes around and scores on a sacrifice fly by Braden Evans. So that's where you get your 1-0 ball game from. And you would think if you hear 1-0, you expect high strikeout numbers on both sides. We said Connor Pittman had 11. Our guys only struck out 3 times.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of times you putting a ball in play, and unfortunately it was one of those games where we've seen it. We hit it where they were instead of where they ain't. A lot of hard contact at guys or soft kind of rollover contact, which is frustrating as a coach. But, hey, the guys are putting the ball in play, and we're not striking out, and you like to see that as well too.
Yeah, we didn't hit a ton of balls hard right at people, but there were probably 3 or 4 that were hit well right at guys, but – and then, like you said, some weak contact in there, but once again, we won the game.
Right.
So
we talked about Connor's line, complete game shutout, 6 hits, 2 walks, 11 strikeouts. I think one of the most impressive things is Holmes, for the 6 hits they got, they were only able to put the tying run on base on third base twice. And Connor got out of it both times. I think it was a pop out both times. And the second pop out was a little bit scary. It was a play where Isaac McClincy slipped for a second. I think if you'd have been there, you could probably hear a collective gasp and then exhale from everybody in the stadium and in the dugout, and myself included on stream. But fortunately, he was able to get that and maintain that lead. And, again, a game where it wasn't pretty baseball, but hey, a win is a win, and you move forward and you go on and you go, we got a sweep today, and that's the most important thing.
Well, and you see that a lot, in these 7-inning games in our league. Everybody's throwing the best arm they have available for the day. So obviously Holmes felt like their left-hander was the best guy, and obviously Pittman's one of our best guys, so he was going. So then, it does come down to a pitching duel, and it's a short game. It's a 7-inning game. So you see a lot of low-scoring games. So it's no surprise that it was a low score. I didn't think it would. I thought we'd probably score more than 1 run and have more than 1 hit.
Right.
But shoot, man, it is what it is.
So you look at this upcoming week, a couple of big games, a couple of series that can really factor into postseason seeding as well too. But the first one you'll look at, you're going to face the rivals over at Southwest. You're going down there, part of the Coca-Cola Challenge, a revival of that, an exciting time. You get to face against them for the bat. Going into it, if we're going to keep the trophy, you got to sweep the Bears after they took the first game in the series 8-4 up there in that triple header at Hines in extra innings. But what do you know about the Bears coming into this one?
They're tough. They've got some good arms, which we talked about before the show. That
Right.
They threw one of those on Saturdays, which we're not mad about at all because he's really good. But I mean, they have other guys other than him on the mound as well. They've got several good ones. They're scrappy at the plate. I mean, we talked about this, me and Coach Edmondson, their head coach over there. We had a couple of media days and things like that last week. I mean, our teams are very similar. We recruit a lot of the same kids, all of that stuff. And when me and him both kind of coach the same. Coaching philosophies are very similar. We're going to try to make things happen offensively. They're going to do the same thing. And just scrappy, tough ball club. So it should be a really good competitive doubleheader. But hopefully we end up on the positive side of it.
3 and 6 will be the game times for that. Our friends over at Southwest will carry those games, Bear TV. Softball will be hosting the Lady Bears on that day, so we'll have those streams for you. But you look forward to this upcoming Saturday. You'll go over to East Mississippi. You'll play a very tough Lions team, a team that, even if you were over here, it would still be tough. You got to go over there, and that makes it just a little bit tougher anytime you have to go to someone else's place. But what do you know about the Lions going into that contest?
They're having a really good year. Offensively, they've been one of the best teams in our league all year, so they're really swinging the bats well. They swing for the long ball. They try to hit home runs, I think, and their park kind of plays to that. I don't know if you've ever been there, or people that have been there kind of know in left field it's a tall wall, but it's not deep. So they've kind of recruited to that, which is smart. And they've got good arms. So, I mean, they're a very well-rounded team, and I think it's always tough to go to somebody else's place and win a couple games. So it'll be a challenge for sure. They'll be good. So we're looking forward to it, though.
And it's hard to believe, but those are the final 2 regular season road doubleheaders. I said that on stream. It's hard to believe we've only got 2 weeks left. It feels like February wasn't nearly 2 months ago, but it was. And you blink and you anticipate the season getting here, and you blink and then it's over, and you hang on for the ride and those kind of things. But you look at it, 2 weeks left. You're right there in prime position. I think we've looked at it. You're sitting in about 8th, maybe even 7th. Haven't got a chance to look at it again since results on Saturday. I know there was a mixed bag of all of those as well too. But you're looking at it, and you're right there, really where you want to be. You've got a chance to even increase that position in these last 8. We were talking about some stuff before the show and those kind of things, even maybe have an outside shot at finishing somewhere in that top 5 and maybe even hosting some stuff as well too. But your thoughts overall on where you're sitting right now. I think if anybody would have told you, hey, you're going to be sitting at 500 at 22 and 22 and 10 and 10 overall in conference play, and you're going to have wins over East Central, Meridian, Jones, all these top ranked teams, I think you'd take it all day.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't be any more proud of our team and where we're sitting right now. Like it's awesome, So, but as far as just we got to stay where we're at, or stay where we're at. If not, get better or move up even more. Obviously, just making the playoffs has been the goal from the get-go. For us, and just getting in and finishing in the top 5 would be great. To host a playoff game here, I don't know the last time that was done. Probably been a little while. But I just want to get in and give ourselves a chance to continue to play as long as we possibly can for the rest of the year. And it's like I told our guy, it's right in front of us. We've got 8 games left, and we really don't even have to worry about what other people are going to do. I mean, there's some things that could help us out, but if we just do what we have to do, it doesn't matter what anybody else does. If we handle our business, we will be fine. But that's not going to be easily done, and we got to stay extremely focused the next couple weeks and make it happen. So that's what we're hoping for.
That's the old adage: control what you can control, and what you can control is what you can do each and every time you're out there. And so, as you mentioned, you do that, you like your chances going forward. So lots of exciting things happening for the Wolves. They go 3-1 last week, split with Meridian, sweep the Bulldogs. They'll go on the road to Southwest 3-6 this upcoming Wednesday, those times, and then they'll be on the road at Scuba against the Lions of East Mississippi 2-5 on Saturday the 20th. Of course, both teams will carry those streams for you. We'll give you that information on all of our social media channels. when we have it available to you. And then, of course, they'll come home, wrap up the regular season at home with a pair of doubleheaders. We'll talk about those next week when Coach Chamblee joins us again. Stick with us through the break. Coming up, we'll have softball coach Meleah Howard join us and talk about how the Lady Wolves fared last week. Thanks for sticking with us through the break. And as promised, joining us now is head softball coach Meleah Howard. Coach, thanks for joining us.
It's a good morning to be here.
Coach, obviously, we already talked about the Meridian games last week because you played those a little bit early, but you played some other games at the end of last week, went over to Holmes, played those, and you swept those. So you go 4-0 on the week. Just talk about the sweep overall and how good it felt to go on the road and bring 2 back home.
You know, anytime you can go on the road in our conference and sweep, it's a good day. So we had a really good day. It was a little hot, and we were on turf, so that was different, but a really good day.
So you look at the first game, and you almost want to say the scoreline's a little deceptive. It says 12-1, but 9 out of those 12 didn't come till the 6th inning. So it was a big 6th inning there for you. But you look back over the scoring, you took an early lead 1-0 on a solo home run by Madison Moak. I think it was a 2-1 pitch. So the 4th pitch of the game leaves the yard. You got to feel real good whenever that happens. And then it's 2-0 after the 3rd. They score 1 in the 3rd. That's their only run of the game. 2-1. 3-1 after the 5th, and then the 9-run inning happens in the 6th. And if you go and look at the recap of the 6th or the write-up of the game, like the 6th, it was just like hit, just really offensive explosion in that inning.
Well, that's kind of been our story all year. Once we get hot, it's like we're on fire and you can't really put us out. We're known to have one really big inning sometimes, and it came in the 6th. So.
I think we've seen it in the 1st, we've seen it in the 2nd, we've seen it in the 4th. This is a team like it'll happen at any time, and once you catch fire, it's really hard. It's really hard to put that fire out. But you also look at the pitching line in this one. Kara Biswell goes the distance for you, complete game, 6 innings. 5 hits, 1 run. That was earned, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. So Kara rebounds nicely after a little bit of a shaky outing against Meridian. We talked about that one. A little bit of a tighter zone against Meridian that resulted in the higher walk number, but a better line from Kara in this one.
Yeah, and it was a better day too. Just overall, it was sunny. We were on a dry, clean playing surface, so that makes a difference. But yeah, Kara looked a lot more crisp in this game. Defense played really well behind her. And, we got the win.
You look at the hitting lines. Moak led the team with 3 hits. Zykeria Cole, Emery Warren with 2 hits each. You also had Leah Phillips, Olivia Baines, Taylor Efferson, and Maddie Bruner all with hits as well, too. So, again, another day where up and down through the lineup, you're getting hits. Pinch hitters were getting hits. They were getting RBIs as well, too. Maddie Bruner had 2 RBIs. Baines had 3. Emery Warren had 3, Zy had 3, Kinley Ainsworth had 2, and she didn't have a hit in the game, and Madison Moak had 1 as well too. So again, just a productive day out of that lineup in game 1.
Well, anytime you start the game off with a home run, you're like, okay, we should have a good day today. So Madison Moak really started the day off well with that, and then they kind of took the bat out of AG's hands. We were able to get Zy Cole back in the lineup, so that was good. We like having her out there, just her presence. But yeah, like you said, we had a good day up and down throughout the lineup.
Then you look at game 2, and game 2 got off to a little bit of a different start. Your biggest inning came in the 1st inning. You had multi-run innings throughout this one, but you scored 4 in game 2, and you're up 4-1 after the 1st inning. And you're thinking, all right, we're off to the races. We're running, and maybe we'll get a run rule in this one. This one goes 7, but it was a 9-3 ball game. Your thoughts overall on it?
Yeah, we never really did put the game away when we had opportunities. We ran ourselves out of a couple innings, so we got to clean that up a little bit. But they know. But yeah, I would have liked to score a few more runs. But the way the game started was definitely okay. We're gonna hit this game. So, but yeah, we got the win, 9-3.
You look at the scoreline on this one again. We mentioned that 1st inning, 4-1, no score in the 2nd. We scored 2, they scored 1, makes it 6-2. No score in the 4th, 5th, or 6th. We scored 3, they scored 1. A little bit of an oddity there in the score lines. Both teams matched each other when in the innings they scored. You don't see that happen very often, but that was where you get 9-3 from. Your hitting lines, AG had 2 hits in this one. You brought it up to the top of the lineup. They pitched to her in this one. I guess you said, hey, you're either going to pitch to her or you're going to walk the leadoff batter. So she got 2 hits in this one. Zai Cole got 2 hits. Emery Warren got 2 hits. That's 6 of your 11. Moat, Kenley Ainsworth, Taylor Efferson, Olivia Baines, and Carson Huey get your other hits there. So another game where that lineup really produced for you.
Right. Yeah. And like you said, in game 1, I think you put Abby Grace on every single time. So we said, hey, if he's going to do that, let's put her at leadoff this next game. And at least we're going to get the leadoff. If he walks her, we get the leadoff on every time. And you have Madison Moak, who has a hot bat behind her. And then Zai Cole and Kenley Ainsworth, so it just keeps going on.
Yeah. I think AG finished the week with 8 walks. 4 of them were in game 1. She was walked every time she came to the plate in game 1. But we talked after this one the other day. Emery Warren had a really big day for you. She got 3 hits and 4 RBIs in this one, and that's a player. You said all year you've been expecting big things for you, and this is a game where she showed that.
Yeah. It's about time, Emery. Emery can hit. We've known that since she got here. She's been a little up and down, but here lately she's having good at bats. She's seeing the ball well, so we need her to keep doing that. And
then you look at your pitching line. You get another complete game from a pitcher that I think got her maybe her first or second start, but it's her first complete game of the year. Emily Richard. She goes 5-0. Pitches, again, 7 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 of those earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. And again, Emily is a pitcher who last week she finished with 3 wins. She got both your wins in relief against Meridian, gets this win here. She's shown you, especially here lately, you can rely on in relief. So, seeing her get a complete game start had to feel good.
Yeah, so this is actually Emily's first start this year. She's came in several times in games and in big games. This is her first time to start. Right. Emma's kind of like Emery. She's starting to get hot right now. She's spinning the ball really well. She's getting outs. She's not getting hit hard. So let's give her a chance. Let's start in game 2 and see what she's got. And she went the distance, so I was proud of her. So you look ahead to this upcoming week. You're staring down the barrel of the end of the season. You've only got 8 left, and you're sitting in first place right now. But we got to get through a few more doubleheaders before everything gets done. The first one coming up will be against your rival Southwest. You got the Lady Bears coming on April 17th, Wednesday, 4-6 on those. What do you know about the Lady Bears coming into this one? Well, I tell people all the time that when we play Southwest, it's kind of like Mississippi State and Ole Miss. You really don't know. The records don't matter. It's a 30-minute distance apart, so it's a little bit of a close distance rivalry. So I expect them to be ready for us. But it goes back to what we've said since day one. Our opponents are going to change, but we stay the same. We still play. We got to play our game, and if we play our game, we'll be fine. Yeah, I know Southwest is a really good quality arm in Lauren Mount, so excited to see that match up, how our offense matches up with that pitching as well, too. And then you'll close out, it's hard to say this, but you close out the home portion of the regular season this upcoming Saturday. You'll host the Lady Lions out of East Mississippi. We'll have sophomore day as well too. Get to honor 9 sophomores on this team and just celebrate all of their accomplishments and all those kind of things. But what do you know about the Lady Lions coming into this one? I know they are better than they have been in the past. They have a really good arm as well, I believe. I'm not sure if she'll start game 1 or game 2, but so she'll it'll take a little bit of an adjustment to her. But they're gonna be well coached. Mackenzie Bird, former Lady Wolf that played here, she's very passionate about what she does, and she's gonna have them ready. Yeah, I think Mackenzie had the interim title last year. Did a quality job with them. Has taken that program and really taken it steps further this year as well too. So anytime you get to invite former alum, even if they're coaching against you, it's always a good time to get to see them as well too. And then of course, like we said, you'll get to honor the sophomores. That'll be a good treat there too. And we also had another little bit of a special event Tuesday. We got to take the team and go up to the state capitol and get recognized for winning the national championship. And that I think that was a lot of fun. And we were talking with everybody. I was talking to some of the freshmen. I said, all right, let's go back and do this again next year. That's right. So had a lot of fun with that trip. It was really cool. Anytime you get to go to the state capitol and be recognized on the House floor, that was really cool, and that was an experience that they'll never forget. Very appreciative of the opportunity to get to go. And I did tell them, we're planning on coming back and doing this again.
So lots of exciting things happening. Again, Coach, we just talked about it. We talked with Coach Chamblee earlier, and I think I told him if I'd have told you, hey, you're 22-22 and you're 10-10, you take it. He said, yeah. I think if anybody would have told you, hey, you're 31-3 and you only have one loss in conference going into the last 8, you'd say, well, we've had a really good season.
We have. Somebody actually asked me that the other day. They're like, how's your season going in comparison to last year? And I said, well, we had a really good team last year. We have a really good team this year. It just happened to be that this year we've gotten the wins a little bit earlier than we did last year. So I hope we're able to keep that going in the same direction.
So lots of exciting things happening for the Lady Wolves. Again, they go 4-0 last week. They will have their final 2 regular season home doubleheaders. Host Southwest on Wednesday, April 17th, 4-6. Start times for there, and then host East Mississippi Lady Lions for Sophomore Day on Saturday, April 20th, 2-4 on those. We'll have both those games on stream for you. I'll be on the call for those. We'll have baseball. Their opponents will host those streams. They'll face the same 2 opponents on the road. And we also have tennis in action this week as they are on the road for the Region 23 tournament at Jones. That starts Thursday. They'll face off against Meridian, and we'll keep you updated on how they're doing on social media as well, too. Thanks for tuning in this week. I'm Kevin Kaiser, Sports Information Coordinator. We'll talk to you next week on the other side of it.